Underdog Daily. Whoa. My shit just glitched out for a second. We're good. Underdog Daily. Your boy, Rotorun Solorun here, hanging out, Black and Yellow Dog app, platform of the people. It's not going to be solo run for long, though. I got 2 Winner Circle guests. I'm really happy to invite on a couple members of the community. All 3 Dog Bowl winners this week are recurring participants. So that's a lot of fun. Evergreen reminder, game of skill out here. A couple programming notes. Obviously, no Nez today. We're going to talk about the Hoops slate. 10 gamer that got cut down to 7 for our site. Love to see it. We'll make the Dunking After Dark slate distinctly different as well. And then we got all of the Thanksgiving stuff, all the turkey stuff up in the lobbies already there for the football. Let me give you a little walkthrough right quick here. We got the turkey. We got the tiny turkey there. The main contest, this turkey, RAKE-FREE contest. So let me just, because I wrote about it in the masterclass, we talk about it all the time. The value of a RAKE-FREE contest. This is 35,700 entries in it. It's effectively taking 4,000 entries out of the player pool. There's 4,000 less lineups that you have to compete against by taking away the 11% rake. So this is the contest to jam. This is the one we should be pushing for. Love to see that Underdog has carried on the tradition of doing this year over year now. So this is great stuff there. So we're going to have a full dedicated show to the Thanksgiving stuff. We're going to run 2 off and on the clocks this week for the 2 football main slates. So we will run one on Wednesday with Pete, and then we will run one on Black Friday as well for the weekend slate there. So tons of football stuff coming you guys' way. Going to do hoops today, 3-game hoops tomorrow. So probably members only tomorrow. And then there's a massive hoops slate on Wednesday to go alongside our off and on the clock for the Thanksgiving slate. Whether Nez is available to do it or not, I will for sure do something hoops related for everybody. Probably paywall as well on Wednesday. So 3 hoop shows, then double dips of off and on the clock. And then we are going to turn the calendar to December and Dog Bowl week. And we are going to have some big time content headed your guys' way from the Dog Bowl, from the venue. And that is the perfect segue there because I am a true professional. I don't have my sidekick here. This is the first winner circle this year without my sidekick. So bear with me here when I count myself down to bring in the guest and see if I can mix in all the effects, the sound effects and stuff that Nez so kindly does for us. So let me give this a little 3, 2, 1. This is gonna go terribly.
Well, there it is. Hey, thank you. Good morning, everybody. Now is he going to be able to get himself
there
back?
We go.
He did it. He got himself back.
Oh, what a clusterfuck there. Welcome back to the Dog Bowl. Dark Sheep, aka the man of the sheets, aka Matthew. Podium finish last year at the Dog Bowl in Dallas. Yes, congratulations, bro.
Thank you. I needed to go back because I said, when I qualified last year that my wife started talking about a new kitchen, and apparently you got to get more than 3rd place to get actually everything your wife wants in a new kitchen. So
oh, that's good stuff. So, hey, man, we're going to have another shot at it this year. We're going to try and best that 3rd place finish and get those kitchen renovations, get the budget up a little bit more on those, eh?
Yeah, exactly. It expanded past the kitchen is really the problem, or not the problem because it's been great. I'm very grateful that I had the opportunity last year and, improve stuff around the house here.
Sweet, dude. Love to see the practicality associated with some of those earnings there, not just dumping it back into the funds here for the bankroll. Nice shirt, according to our guy T-Box there, fellow Brewers fan there. Tough end of the season for you guys there, but we know you as a baseball guy. We know you from the sheep seats. We know you from stacking dingers. You getting the itch for baseball season, my friend? I
am. I was not thinking I was going to be ready yet, but and I was kind of dragging my feet on getting stuff planned, but Billy Jones, my co-host there at Stacking Dingers, has started kicking my butt already. So we got like our show sheets planned for most of the year and got our list of guests. And so, yeah, we're probably in a couple of weeks, because I think pretty soon is normally when the bullpen drops. So we are planning in a couple of weeks to roll out our first Stacking Dingers episode. So
awesome, man. That's you're more prepared than the Badge Bros here. You guys got show sheets and everything here.
Well, a schedule written out at least.
There you go. So what's on the docket? I know you put out a survey in the Discord and that sort of stuff, but what kind of stuff are you guys going to be firing up?
So one thing this year is, I'll soft launch it here. We are going to be opening up the YouTube membership this year.
Nice.
But pretty much everything that we gave you last year is going to be the same price of free 99. All the shows that we did last year, we're going to do most of the similar stuff. We're not going to do some of the, we got some bad numbers on the like division previews and stuff that wasn't really loved. People want to know about players and rankings and specific contest strategies. So we're trying to pull baseball out of his work rut and get some data analysis from him again. But otherwise, we're gonna launch the membership and basically give anybody who wants to support us and help pay for our StreamYard fees just a private Discord channel that we'll be in, and that's kind of the main benefit, just some place to hang out and talk baseball. So that's
awesome,
planned for this year.
Yeah, look forward to it. I was always tapping into the shows there, getting that alpha for our draft games in particular there for the main contest there. For
we gotta
bullpen and stuff. You
and I gotta actually align on a schedule for once. Get you on the show.
Hey, this year I promise we'll do one at some isolated point there. We'll find a spot that works. I'll for sure hop on with you guys. I love talking baseball. I love talking underdog specific baseball.
I know you do.
Let's talk about the football though, man. This is 2 times in a row we think of you as a baseball guy here, but this is 2 years in a row now qualifying for the Dog Bowl via the football streets. Were you pushing hard for it this year, having had that experience and having a taste of the podium last year, or what's your approach been?
So what I did is similar to last year. Is I actually set aside a certain amount from last year's winnings that I was willing to lose chasing again this year. So I've been just basically monitoring each week and making sure I don't go over my budget overall for the whole season. And then basically anything I won just got fed back into that pool. So I've done anywhere from 0 some weeks where I was busy to a couple of weeks. I did 20 the first week, and this week I did actually go over my budget just because I was chasing that last week.
Chasing that dream, baby.
I did 27 this week, so that was the most, but everywhere in between that each week.
Right on, man. I actually love that so much because it rolls right into some of the bankroll conversations from the masterclass. It rolls into a nice macro strategy conversation for the site that, like, hey man, this is a good sharp player who's got there twice now, but doing it in a feasible, relatable manner, not just blindly auto drafting 150 and having more shots on goal than everybody else. So I do really love that angle from you there.
Yeah. And, I was basically, like I said, blow it all up until this last week. And going into it with this mindset helps you be comfortable if, the results turned out this week as they had every other week. Because I knew going in that this is where my account balance is going to be at the end. And I'm, what I'm going to roll into some playoff football and, what I can plan for baseball. And it's all about that next season for me, making sure I can still play and be involved.
No, that's awesome, man. Yeah, I love that. I mean, it's such a humble, relatable approach for like the 50% time grinders, or like the recreational time grinders. Not that you're a recreational player by any play style there, but just in terms of like, this isn't your full-time gig opposed to some of the other interviews that we have with guys, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome, bro. Let's talk about the actual lineup and the winner here. You were the top of the food chain this week here. Let me bring that one up for you. in the results tab here. There he is, top there, a little Jameis double stack. You are,
yes,
Dark Sheep, you are renowned for the double stacks in these contests. People forget that last year, the Johnny Munt double stack at the Dog Bowl, baby. I will never forget the greatest scroll in 6th round Dog Bowl history. Was a Johnny Munt scroll in the last round there.
Who I actually was, I don't know if you know, but I was confused on that. I thought he was the 2nd string, but he's actually more like the 3rd string last year from Minnesota. I meant to do the 2nd string, so that was even deeper than I wanted to go. But yes, especially with tight end, I really love adding that as the double piece in a stack. That's what I try to do most lineups.
Awesome, man. Yeah. So what people are going to notice the majority of these lineups this week was it truly was a Jahmyr Gibbs or bust week. JSN did his very best to kind of keep that first round pick, 2nd overall pick, kind of mattering for a long time there. But when Jahmyr Gibbs broke off that overtime 70-yarder, it really kind of flipped the slate here. And then the 2nd RB slot, there weren't a ton of usable scores. You needed Genty, you needed Judkins, you needed Emmanuel Wilson. A lot of people got onto the Emmanuel Wilson stuff via the swap there. But the big thing you needed, man, Jameis, highest scoring quarterback on the slate, to go alongside one of the highest scoring wide receivers in Wan'Dale Robinson. And then, as you alluded to with the double stack nature, the Theo Johnson. So was that a big target for you this week? Were you really playing the game environment? Were you playing the Jameis stuff? Or was this one of one for you?
So this was the only team I got with Gibbs. I was taking him or I planned on taking him 1 or 2, or 3. I was going to take him. He was my 1-1 this week. But this was the only one I got. I got a ton of 9 through 12 draft spots this week, which were not great. And then as far as other Jameis lineups, I actually had, I think, 3 dart lineups that, for whatever reason, I decided to swap to Flacco instead of Winston, even though most of them had at least Wan'Dale. I think one of them I missed out. I got sniped on the stack. So this also was my only Winston team. So
wow. Nice.
In fact, I cashed 2 out of 27 lineups this week in the contest.
Just takes one, baby. Just takes one.
And you want to talk about just takes one. Like I feel like I played the Wilson Jacobs situation wrong all week, because I try to draft teams throughout the week if I have the chance, and I felt like going into this slate when Jacobs was ruled out, I just felt like I played that completely wrong all week. Okay. So I'm happy with the results, but it feels like luck, but
it just takes one if you create intelligently well-constructed lineups with the game correlation and stuff like this, like you did here. We'll talk about my own portfolio and how I played this week and how tragic I played in another direction there. But the Jacobs stuff, by playing it wrong, were you just kind of aping the Q tag later in anticipation of Jacobs playing? That was kind of your thing, and it wasn't a swap dynamic that you were trying to create for yourself?
Yeah, so early on, I was attacking Wilson way above ADP because, I thought if Jacobs was going to be out, then it was perfect. So I had a few Wilson's teams that I was taking him 2nd or 3rd round, and he was going. It was ahead of where he was going. So I feel like I ended up losing the value on where I was taking him in the end, because people were still getting him and still grabbing him almost every draft, even as the Q tag kind of changed to a maybe tag for Jacobs as the week went on. So I felt like I got the bad value on Wilson, and then at the end I started grabbing Jacobs because I was trying to read the tea leaves, and I thought, oh, maybe he is going to play. So I started bumping him up, because either way where they were going, it seemed like their projections, if one was the lead guy, was off from where they were going. So then I ended up having to swap a bunch of Jacobs teams that I 4 or 5 that I did in the last couple of days. So
who'd you prioritize swap onto?
I had I think because a lot of times I was taking him as my second RB, so I had either of the Jacksonville guys, wide receivers, if they were available, and then I had Kareem Hunt as the top RB.
Yeah, well done. I mean, all three of those swaps worked out. I mean, they didn't work out in terms of tournament winning, but at least you made the best of a bad situation when the Jacob stuff went awry on you.
Yeah. Nice. So that I felt like I played right, but then, like I said, the Dart to Flacco swaps, I wish I would have gotten Winston, but thankfully it didn't matter.
Yeah, luckily indeed here. I got one or two more for you here as our next guest has arrived in the hopper here. The kind of like overarching experience of Dog Bowl, having been there before, understanding the dynamic of like what live drafting feels like versus like, trying to qualify at home here. Do you feel you'll be like a little bit more prepared? Can you just speak to the dynamic a little bit for those who haven't experienced it before?
Yeah. So the thing I'll say about last year is like obviously we know Underdog puts on a great party, and everybody in the community is pretty awesome. And so that even outside of that, I thought that the draft itself felt more casual than I expected because just the environment, because the amount of money on the line. I thought people were going to be like a lot more secretive, a lot more, kind of, but like, I don't know if it's just building off what the types of people that are there or what, but it felt a lot more casual. So, like, I know that going in, and I feel like, maybe it's false confidence, but getting third last year, I feel like I know what I need to do that weekend to be ready to draft. Although the schedule is different this year. So I don't know, because the last year I spent Saturday morning in the hotel room just drafting 12-mans to get a feel for where guys were going. I know the player pool or the competitor pool in that contest wasn't exactly the same, so wasn't going to match 1-to-1, but that helps me feel comfortable going into the live drafts because I had done just a handful of them or done enough to feel comfortable where guys were going, what stacks were being taken, and where if I started a certain player, where I could take that stack. And so I feel like I need to replicate that and be better about, or be good about being prepared, because like last year, we had some Wi-Fi issues and the rain made it kind of the Dallas surprise rain made it kind of uncomfortable out there. So being prepared helped me be ready for those kind of whatever curveballs as they got thrown of the live event. So got to imagine, who knows what could happen. I think we're going to be inside this year, so hopefully no rain inside, but yeah.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, this year's going to be it's going to be special. We haven't shared anything, so please don't fully say location and that sort of stuff. But it's going to be completely different this year, and I'm really excited for it. And man, I think it's a really good point, Matthew. It's just like the ability to control with what's inside of your own control, and that is mainly being prepared by grinding those 12-mans earlier in the week and Saturday morning, to just have familiarity with the board, with the circumstance.
Yep.
Right on, bro. Look forward to. Oh yeah, sorry.
I just want to add on. I think that's more important than knowing every game total or whatever going in. Just know, for me, I want to know the projections and I want to know how the boards are shaking out.
Awesome. Yeah, love that stance. Best of luck, my friend. Look forward to seeing you in a couple weeks here, and look forward to the first Stacking Dingers stuff. I promise this year we're doing Stacking Dingers together.
Everyone heard that. Everyone
heard it. Put it down. We're doing Stacking Dingers. It's been too long there, and Nez does his best to get on, and I haven't done enough. So I got to make right by that.
All right,
my friend.
Peace out.
Look forward to seeing you, buddy. All right, guys, we're gonna move on. Next guest here, a recurring guest from this year, long-time Deposit Kingdom. I'm not gonna say legend, but like it's a little too high praise. But certainly one of my favorite people to hang out with in the community here. Without further ado, 3, 2, 1.
What? What's up, guys? Wow, I'm on here the full screen, huh? This is nice.
It's a lot harder to do without Ness than I anticipated. It's not overly seamless out here, Chris. Welcome back. ChrisGeeeee takes his second Dog Bowl seat, previous qualifier as well in the Miami Dog Bowl, the very first year there, and now has 2 seats going into this year. I actually didn't get my spreadsheet together yet, but I think that makes 3 of you guys now that are multi drafters, and we have Dan that's fully maxed. We have Awen who's fully maxed, and then you're the only person with 2 seats, I believe. No?
Tubbins has 2 seats as well. Tubbins.
Ty. Yeah. Yeah, good shouts. Okay, yeah. Cool. Yeah, I got to get my ducks in a row for next week there. But how we feeling, big dog?
Feeling great, dude. No, there was no better sweat yesterday. It was an easy sweat, honestly. I got to be honest. Until the very end, obviously, when Pickens and Dak were coming back. But I was talking to my dad. I'm like, hey, man, Jameer went off. Emmanuel Wilson went off. Wandale went off. And then, I was excited. I was like, oh, I only need like 30 points from Jalen Hurts and Devonta. And I was like, the good old Slim Reaper. I said, hopefully Noah Fant doesn't bury me with 1 point, So
yeah. If you know, ChrisGeeeee has been victim in the past of the 0 points from tight end there where, Kyle Pitts, he will not be named, cost him a Dog Bowl seat last year. I think my guy's got to go in and out again here. We'll see. I'll just leave it like this, even though it looks ridiculous for a half second there. Hopefully Chris can get back in real quick. But in the meantime, we can look at Chris talking about the sweat there. Here we go. There we go. The old off and then on again. We good?
Yeah. Pro tip: put your phone on Do Not Disturb when you're doing this thing.
Gotcha. There you go. Little phone. Do Not Disturb. Got him again. Pro tip. Oh, man. Obviously, my guy is in his car. He's working, and he's getting phone calls right now. Chris stepped outside of the office for like 5 minutes here to join us. And then there we go.
Yeah, I just turned it on Do Not Disturb now for the people just randomly started calling me. So, of course.
Oh, popular guy, bro. Well, we won't take up too much of your time. Obviously a busy guy, and you've been on the program before, but yeah, truly sickening how this could have mirrored that of the Kyle Pitts experience there, where the 0 from Kyle Pitts when you only needed 1 point, but Noah Fant gets you home with 1.4, 13% drafted there. Truly sick.
Yeah, if you want, I'll walk you through this draft here. This was when we thought Joe Burrow was going to be in, and I was like, oh, this is a great way to get some leverage on a Joe Burrow without like taking him really early. Also, this draft was a little unique where I was able to get Gibbs at the 103. Oh, wow. And that was just very beneficial to me, which allowed a Hurts slide, and I was very lucky for that, to get that combination.
Awesome. Yeah, you sent me the draft board there earlier. I'll pop it up for the people there. It does totally make sense now when you're talking about the Joe Burrow stuff, because T. Higgins goes 1-1 in this draft, where, this was clearly right in the hype of the, he might be coming back, and, T is just a 1-for-1 replacement for Chase. Evergreen reminder that people overreact in isolated windows to information. We learn that every single day in the hoops here. But yeah, nice little Hurts stack there. You get the Wandale bring back off of the Gibbs stuff. And then you were playing Emmanuel Wilson, which is what the hashtag models were telling you to play early in the week there, because they had it as Jacobs being out. So you were the beneficiary of the opposite end of the spectrum for Dark Sheep there. Did you have a good stance on Emmanuel Wilson this week?
I actually had only 7 Emmanuel Wilson shares versus like 15 Josh Jacobs shares. I just like the swap optionality, and I had Kareem Hunt as my top swap, which I ended up having 19% Kareem Hunt, which was actually a good pick. It just didn't matter who you swapped to at that point, right? Because Emmanuel Wilson crushed it.
Well said.
Very, very fortunate The one slot took Josh Jacobs, actually made the decision for me really easily. And when he took Josh Jacobs, I knew he was going to take Emmanuel Wilson, and the other guy had 2 RBs. So I was like, oh, I'm definitely going to take this guy that I don't have enough of. And it just worked out on the right combination.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, 2 high-scoring running backs on the slate there in the Gibbs plus Wilson, and then the Wan'Dale Robinson being the high-scoring wide receiver or adjacent to high-scoring wide receiver, but definitely the best relative to ADP there because JSN outscored him. But yeah, man, nice stuff here. Was the Hurts a big target for you this week?
I was taking whoever would fall. So when I had those early picks, I was taking whoever. Like I actually wasn't on Lamar that much. So if I had the choice between Jalen and Lamar, I would pick Jalen. I wanted more Mahomes actually, but I just kept missing him because I would try to get Rashi and then another strong, second round pick and hope that Mahomes would fall. He never would. And then I just got really fortunate on this draft for Jalen to fall that far. And
awesome, bro. Yeah.
And I that's a big shout to the ETR projection bros too. Like they docked him a little bit versus Mahomes in May, and he was able to slip a little bit. Like it was just the perfect storm of what happened to get this draft.
Yeah, and perfect storm in terms of draft window too. Like just the taking advantage of a little bit of news there, and then taking advantage of like Emmanuel Wilson, who was projecting as like RB6 through RB11, pending where you looked as the week went on, or if you looked at lock on Sunday morning, but taking advantage of like, oh, I'll take a little bit of that variance in my life if he's going to project that well, and I can get him in the 5th round.
Yeah, definitely. And like I had a couple teams in the top 20, 25, I think, where I did have another Gibbs, Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown combination.
Okay, yeah.
And the only problem was I took Josh Jacobs on that team instead of Emmanuel Wilson,
Mm-hmm.
So, and I had a better tight end, everything. So it was just crazy. Like, it's crazy how it worked out. So I just got very fortunate. I actually was talking to Chad, my boy Chad Maskey, about like, hey, imagine these both like get there or like something's going to happen where AJ Brown and Emmanuel Wilson are the optimal, which they were, that I don't have that combination. And then, or Jacobs and Devonta are the optimal and I don't have them. Like it just always happens like that,
Yeah, no, I know the mental gymnastics of the sweat and anti-sweat in the moment there when you're in such a good spot too, right?
Yeah, I'm like, man, this game is going to be the last game up. It's all Jalen, like driving back at the end. And then I'm like, oh man, Dak and Pickens are creeping up on me. I'm like, Dave is going to crush me here from the back end. And like, luckily I did have another Dak Pickens combo as well. That was up there as well. But I was like, just end the game, please.
Yeah,
just end the game.
Please. Yeah. And it did end with that field goal. So yeah, good stuff here, man. That must've been, as you alluded to, you said it was easy sweat, but the second half might've been a little less easy when the 21-0 lead evaporated and they didn't score any points in the second half. Yeah. But dude, congrats again, my friend. Any words for the people here, just in terms of being excited about the Dog Bowl, preparation for the Dog Bowl? Anything you want to just share with the community before we all meet up in 2 weeks' time?
Yeah, man, I'm really excited that I get a couple more shots on goal for the draft. Like when I first did this, it was only 1 draft in Miami, Yeah. And now I get 6 drafts to play with, and seeing everyone there last year in Dallas, I was fortunate enough to come to the draft party when it was a monsoon, but I loved every second of it. And I was talking to Mathology and Emo Cowboy. I was like, dude, I'm going to make it next year. So I'm happy to get there, to keep my promise to myself, like, hey, we went all in, we got it. We got more than enough. Uh-huh. And, I'm looking forward to see everyone there from the community. So thank you for
love it, man.
Time. Yeah.
Yeah. We always have a great time together. I'm really looking forward to it as well, Chris. We'll get you on some of the programming, both of you and Dark Sheep there. We'll get you on some of the programming as the week goes on. I think there's going to be more stuff than in years past in terms of our programming angle too. So it's going to be a lot of fun for everyone.
I look forward to it, John. Thank you for the invite.
All right. Peace out, buddy. Congrats again.
Brother. Thank you, man. Bye.
Awesome stuff, guys. There is the last winner's circle for a little bit there, because that is it. That is all 36 seats, entries, whatever you want to word it as, for the Dog Bowl there. Man, really excited. Pour one out for some of our guys in the community here who had some really good sweats, who were really close. We've talked about this so many times, how like this is a very strong community. There's a lot of love in this community, but there is also, a lot of heartbreak when it comes to the top end of leaderboards here. Cognition was the third finisher as well here, another member of the Deposit Kingdom community there. It was this Gibbs plus Emmanuel Wilson combination, actually a naked Dak Prescott with A.J. Brown as the bring back on the other side. Justin Jefferson's lackluster season continues, but that second spot didn't really matter when you had the big three scores amongst the other guys. And then Theo Johnson in the last round there with a nice 9 was enough to get him over the hump. Pour one out for our guy Len Keith. Saw him in the chat earlier there. JGFC's always hanging out. Candles already has a seat, and Gunnar Ross already has a seat, so can't feel too bad for them. But Dave, man, I feel for Dave and I feel for Nez, because two of the best players on the site who were grinding these hard, who did not find victory, did not find podium finishes, but were very deserving, just amongst many others of you guys who were very deserving. But in particular, guys who were constantly up near the top and had 1% finishes that were like really pushing for seats, but it just didn't break the right way for them. Yeah, man, I just, I feel for them. I feel for them. Okay, there you go. Len Key says no winner's circle after I win the turkey. I will make an exception for you. We'll have winner's circle for the BR winners if they want to come on. We'll have winner's circle for the turkeys, and then I have a sneaky suspicion that the last of Dog Bowl season is not fully in the rearview mirror. How about that? I have a sneaky suspicion that there may be some other potential things to qualify for in the future here. So the winner's circle is not fully going away. But appreciate all of you guys who have taken some time out of your day to join us midday over the course of this football season. We've had a guest every single week for winner's circle, and AMAC, no winner's circle for 1700th place in the buzzer beater tonight. No, unfortunately, I got to draw the line somewhere. As much as I love you guys, that's what the bash is for. You guys can join up on the bash there. Guys, I was kind of disappointed. I wasn't able to get in as many as I wanted. I really allotted Saturday morning as my main draft window, and the contest was no longer open for that. The team which we drafted on stream there was my highest finishing one. It was the Jacobs, and then swapped to Emmanuel Wilson one. This was the team in which we got sniped on the Indianapolis double stack there, and then had to pivot quickly to the Sam Darnold one. Never really had a real sniff at contention. Didn't love this lineup. Wasn't what I wanted to build, although it was in third place at one point in time there. Saw our guy Nez up there. He had 2 shots on goal that were flirting with the top. We'll talk about that with him another day there, but heart goes out to my guy, dude, because I really wanted him to qualify. He was pushing hard. We'll talk about the weekend here a little bit, and then talk about the community winners. Let's do community winners first, because it's way more interesting than how bad I played. Let me bring up the Twitterverse here for us. Oh, Purple Yosh dropping off $20 at our door here on mobile, so can't gift the Membies, but sending some love for another 2 out of 2 week in the Eliminator. So our guy is still pushing forward in the Eliminator with 2 bullets left. Unbelievable stuff. Thank you so much, Purple Yosh, and best of luck, man, in the Eliminator streets there. That's truly a sick sweat week over week, those head-to-head sweats. Shout out to Chad Candles. Took down the Deposit Kingdom League. Many are calling it the flagship contest on the site. That and the Badge Bros Brawl. So he takes that one down for a nice little 1K score there. Shout out to Chelsea. Low volume grinder. Only 3 bullets in the main BR contest, and does well with a top 10 here, turning $7 into 1,875. We gave some love to the Dark Sheep there. We gave some love to the Chris G. Our guy, Davis Matt, a.k.a. Matt Mavis, a.k.a. What was I going to say? What's the screen name? Fuck it. We'll figure it out after. But he gets the podium finish here, the runner up in that same Deposit Kingdom one there, right alongside Chad Candles there. Sirach has a really nice week overall here, mainly with a good hurry up lineup there of the 2000 price point here. That was first place in the hurry up for Ciroc. Mad respect to you. That is, you're going to see with all these lineups, guys, the staple of the lineups is you really needed to win that flex position with Emmanuel Wilson, with George Pickens, with Wan'Dale Robinson. Like, those were the big ones. The quarterback position didn't fully separate because you could have had Hurts, you could have had Dak, you could have had Jameis in all of those iterations. But you guys will see in most of the contest winners this week, that's what you needed. Pour one out again for our guy, Len Keith, who drops that one off as well there. Still a nice little 1K for his efforts in fourth place, but he definitely wanted the Dog Bowl seat. Yeah, your boy played like shit this week, guys. My highest owned player at 40 whatever percent scored 0 fantasy points. I spent $611 US on US dollars on a Jameson Williams goose egg at 47.6% owned. Yeah, I don't know, man. I honestly, I might do it again if we ran this slate back today. I might do it again. Oh, shout out to my guy B-Smurf rolling through 5 gifted memberships there. He took down the basketball slate. I was looking for him in the Discord the other night to give him some love. He took down the NBA slate on, I believe it was Friday night, and it was a truly, why am I doing this? It was a truly sick scroll. I believe it was Nick Claxton, right, B-Smurf? I saw this. There it is. 9K for first place, a Joker slate there. These Joker slates, we'll talk about it in a half second. But a 9% owned Nick Claxton to go alongside a 58% owned Cooper Flag. Awesome stuff. Love to see it there. Was going to bring it up when we pivoted into the hoop stuff. And I think my guy Sam Olson took down Saturday as well. There he is, the GOAT, Sam Olson, another Joker slate. Joker just breaking slate after slate after slate. Brandon Williams on the swap. We'll talk about Brandon Williams this evening. Zinger gets the front court all into himself and makes good on it. Finally gets a little uptick in minutes there to that 33 benchmark. Good to see that the knee tendonitis isn't holding him back. It's Mookie's up here as well. Car Park's up here. Cowboys is up here as well. So mad love to you guys. Absolutely crushed it in the hoop streets over the weekend there. Back to my Soros for a half second here. Appreciate the 5 Badge Bros memberships. Beast, appreciate you, man. Yeah. T-Bear's got a take for me. Dan Campbell's play calling is reactionary. Doesn't seem like an overall plan. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. There's theories out there. People are talking about, hey, were they saving Jameson for Thursday night football or for the Thanksgiving Thursday slate? I don't know, man. I just think it was just LOL variants. They just didn't use him in the right ways and didn't get him the football. And, you know, there's over 1,000 yards of offense in that game. It was the best game on the slate to play the back and forth of. Played a lot of Jameis. But yeah, back to the exposures for a second. As you guys could see, I fully aped that game. As I told you guys, I did start the week because my plan was to play Detroit via the passing and via the David Montgomery leverage. That I did start the week with decent amount of Jonathan Taylor. I then pivoted and then started doing a whole lot of Gibbs as I just, found more clarity on the slate. But a lot of Amon-Ra, a lot of Brock Bowers and Trey McBride again, because I thought they could really separate, neither of which did this week. Chase Brown was just stone cold chalk, even though the matchup wasn't great. Saquon just doesn't look like Saquon right now. CeeDee Lamb was kind of my one out to win the DeBomb. I was leading the DeBomb the majority of the day there, and my one out was the Hurts stuff not going nuke, and then CeeDee Lamb, because I had the Emmanuel Wilson times Gibbs with Theo Johnson's 9, which actually mattered, and then Rashee Rice. So I just needed, a little more something from Lamb in the afternoon there, but Hurts ends up, putting up a 30 ball, and then Lamb doesn't get the touchdown. Pickens gets the touchdown, and my night was curtains. But a top 20 finish there in DeBomb. We'll take a look at the Battle Royale here because I know my guy V-Vink is up here, a guy who joins us all the time for the baseball stuff there. But we will look at the winner, Cubby Fan 41 here. You needed that skinny stack of Jalen Hurts This was actually kind of sharp here, guys, because he pulls Jalen Hurts up to 12 to make this build. So everybody else is drafting Drake May alongside their front end combinations with Gibbs, because Drake May was just staring you in the face every single time. You had to scroll a little bit, create a unique combination without creating a faller, and take Jalen Hurts there and then go from there. Awesome team. Very, very well constructed team. Getting that Emmanuel Wilson stuff at pick 36 before the Jacobs rule out, that sort of deal. Crazy Sharps team. I really like this team from Cubby fan. Well constructed there. Shout out to Vivink, who has a very similar team there, except for it was naked Jalen Hurts. He has Genty, who was the other scorer to kind of almost hold serve with Emmanuel Wilson at the second position there. Hunter Henry becomes the tight end you needed in a big way, and you needed it not stacked with Drake May. And a lot of people were just playing it stacked. Roto Surgeon's up here with two of them. Nice member of the community as well. Yeah, that's kind of all I got on this. As you guys can see, I actually did not get in the Bad Post Brawl because you guys filled it before lock there, and I was really trying to just jam the bombs at the tail end there. Anyways, that was the weekend that was, and now I think it's probably time to talk about hoops. Jamo was on the island. There you go. There we go. Gumby's got his hand in the dirt. Ball nowhere takes with the Giants. That there's just lockdown corners out there now. Love the Jamo bounce back this week. I don't know if I have the heart to go back to it, but yeah. He did have, Hohames. Shout out to Hohames. I did see something. Someone sent me something that you did win a contest this weekend as well. Congratulations to you, my friend. But yes, he did have like a 40-yarder or whatever, 50-yarder called back. So that would actually done me wonders in some contests. But slight losing week that was bailed out by one DeBomb team where I got 3 pieces right in it. All right, let's talk hoops, guys. Obviously, no Monday Night Football slate. If you want to play the Monday Night Football slate, it's literally just the sit and go lobbies. You'll probably run into Awin and all the sickos in there. But I would really focus your attention and energy, obviously, on hoops tonight. We'll walk it all through here, but also just on that rake-free main contest. That thing's going to fill fast for Thursday. People are always frothy for the Thanksgiving slate there. Hohames won the Engage 8 with a 0.03% owned Tyrone Tracy. Love it, man. Unbelievable play. Love that. I knew someone sent it to me for a reason. Okay, I want to have this conversation real quick. So Jets is saying NBA 101 or donating. Man, it's been fucking tough. I'm not going to lie. It has been really tough for the best ball streets. It has been really tough for the daily streets. Losing Giannis, losing Wemby. Not having Luka on the last 4 or 5 slates to counteract some of these West Coast games that have Joker in them. Then you magnify that Joker, is playing incredible. He's playing out of his mind. He's the best player across all categories. He's MVP level, highest potentials in the league in terms of assists. It's crazy, right? And then Jamal's been banged up at times. They've been without Aaron Gordon for a couple games here and there. So, yeah, man, I get it. I get the sentiment. The pushback that I would say is that over time, the variance associated with you drafting 101s will effectively balance itself out. The problem with that mindset is you need an infinite sample for that to truly apply. And the reality of guys playing these games is they're not playing 150 every single night, every single day. So on certain slates, such like tonight's, it really does feel that Joker's just going to project 15 points higher. And the tier of projection from player 2, even if it's Cade, because their team is full, from player 2 all the way to 15, the difference between all of those players is smaller than the difference in projection between Joker and Cade. That's a pretty fucked up dynamic to wrap your head around and to balance out, because there is no penalty in our game for There is no penalty in our game of like the redacted side where you spend up for the 1-0-1. So, i.e., you're sacrificing somewhere else. We don't have to do that, right? There is no sacrifice being made at the 1-0-1. You just get a higher projecting team. And that sacrifice is like, in theory, the fact that you get the last pick in the last round, but that last pick in the last round oftentimes projects equally as good, if not better, than like a fraction of the 5th and 6th round. So yeah, Jay Fresh, this is why I kind of wanted to talk about it, is because effectively we're setting up for a slate today that very much mirrors what Gibbs did on the slate yesterday. The difference in hoops and NFL, though, is that wouldn't have necessarily happened yesterday if it's not for one outlier run or one outlier performance, or like this happens like once a year in NFL where it's like you have to have it from the first round of 50 ball. It's happened twice this year with a Jonathan Taylor 50 ball slate and now with the 49 from Gibbs. The problem in hoops is it happens every single Joker slate, right? So yeah, I mean, Nez and I have been doing some roundtables behind closed doors, and we've been doing some content that's baseball. It is baseball as well, but it is basketball specific right now. And we've been kind of like talking about these dynamics and that sort of thing. And the honest truth from like a bankroll management standpoint of if you can't stomach the variance of like, I've done 15 drafts to start the day, I have one Joker share. Someone in the chat just said, JCam just said, I've done 20 drafts. I got two teams. If we can't stomach the variance of that, or we can't stomach like, hey, I'm going to play a big enough sample, or I'm going to max every Joker slate for the rest of the season, so it's going to even itself out. Tonight's a night where you play the Dunking After Dark slate. Tonight's a night where you play the hockey slate instead, because this is a stark reality that we are dealing with right now. That the 1-0-1 is literally all those teams are going to project 15 points higher, period. And now, is there chance for foul trouble or injury or random variance? Yes. But when we're creating lineups, we don't think about that sort of stuff, right? We build the most intelligent, highest projecting lineups in this community, right? That's what we do. So anyways, wanted to have the conversation, wanted to talk about it. It's not a problem. It's just the nature of the archetype of basketball player that is maybe the best fantasy basketball player in the history of basketball right now, right? And it's tough. I understand that. I still play these slates. I still grind. I'm not going to let it keep me away from the games or the games that I love, but there has to be some recognition in the fact that when you're building your Joker teams, you have to cognitively flip a switch that this team is worth exponentially more than any other team I'm going to build today. So I have to keep that in mind. I have to either encapsulate ADP fallers there. I have to do something different from a combinatorial ownership standpoint at the front end of the draft board. I have to take 2 6th rounders, even though it's really uncomfortable with my Joker team, because my Joker teams have to be the focal point of my portfolio building. It's Mookie who gets second place on Saturday night with a Joker team, wants separate leaderboards for Joker teams and non-Joker teams. That's pretty funny. Yes, like John's right here, man. Like this is the thing. Sit up in your chair and lock in, like the meme with the video game controller. Like as soon as you get a Joker team, one of those. Absolutely. Wilt is probably the greatest. Yo, T-Bear, if you can find me anybody who had Wilt fantasy teams back in the day, like handmade Wilt fantasy teams with Wilt holding up the 100 points. Wilt was playing against plumbers. Separate leaderboard for Buster Boys team. Buster Boys was up there. I was really hoping for a Buster Boys run out in the Dog Bowl this weekend. If it wasn't going to be my boy Nez or some other members of the community, I was hoping for a Buster Boys. So he finally had to show face. Buster Boys is my new version of Feed the Freezer, where it's like, I know he's lurking. I know he's way too dialed in these games. I need to learn, man. I need to learn from him. I need to meet this guy. Wilt must have broken slates in the 1960s. Okay, we're having too much fun. Just kidding. There's no such thing. This is what it's all about. Okay, 7-gamer on the hoop slate here. Let me bring up a quick resource or two. Not fully prepared. We got some back-to-backs this evening. We got some injury reports that have come through. We got a laundry list of teams. We got other teams getting back to full. So like we have the fullest iteration of the Heat that we have seen, even though we did just lose Norm Powell from that team. Yes. We did get Shaedon Sharpe just ruled out, and Time Lord listed available. Okay, I thought he would be. Oh, actually, no, he sat front end, so he would be available this evening. Never mind. Okay, 10 games in the association tonight, 7 on our slate. The late slate, guys, get into the late slate tonight because that'll be a fun one. We got, Houston's on it, Phoenix is on it, the Warriors are on it. It's a fun slate. That's going to be a really fun short slate dynamic to talk through. But back end back-to-backs. Cleveland's on the back end back-to-back. We already got a report from them. No Garland, no Allen. No RJ Barrett on the other side of that game for Toronto. Back end back-to-back as well. Miami, already no Norm Powell, but we're going to get Tyler Hero back tonight. So that's back end back-to-back as well in that ball game. Other back end back-to-backs. Portland is the last one on the main slate there, but they played OKC last night, and we already have the Shaedon Sharpe and Jrue Holiday ruled out. So we kind of know what we're doing. It's Jam Denny Avdia as kind of like pick 3 overall. Maybe a little bit of Klingen in our life, even though Time Lord kind of like cuts into that. And then we'll talk about, Jeremy Grant in the last round. We'll talk about some leverage pieces there as they go up against the Bucks this evening. So those are all your back end back-to-backs. I missed the Nets in there. A probable tag on Claxton. So we got Cleveland, Toronto, Miami, the Nets, and Portland. That's 5 teams on the back end of back-to-backs, all played yesterday. But Portland notably played OKC and basically only played like 20 minutes of real basketball. And then it was all kind of like bench run, that sort of thing. But I don't know, with no Shaedon Sharpe and no Jrue Holiday, like does Caleb Love come into our lives in the last round today? Might be something to think about there. The front end back-to-backs is nobody. Perfect. We are clean on the front end back-to-backs. Tomorrow is only a 3-game slate with the coast to coast. And there's like a widespread, like a 4-hour gap between game times for the short slate dynamics tomorrow. Yes, here's another one that we are talking about is the JJJ swaps. There are both the JJJs on the slate today. One is the good play, and one is the bad, naughty boy play that I am no longer clicking in my life. But these Q tags right now, we're gonna deal with that. Yes, John. Yes, Wiggins and Jovic are out as well for Miami. Hence why one of the JJJs is a good play tonight. So we will talk through the dynamic of that as I go game by game, starting right now. Pistons and Pacers, first one up, 8.5 by way of the Pistons here, and this is a 236.5. There's only one of the 240 totals on the slate. I think we could just say that as a good macro. This Pelicans and Bulls game, this 244.5 is the biggest total on the slate. Also one of the faster games, even though the Pels don't play that fast. The Bulls have been playing really fast. So anyways, just wanted to point that out, that there is one outlier total. As you guys can see, the unabated line has this at 10.5 instead of 8.5 there. So much more dominant towards the Piston side. The Pistons last time out, man, they ran some garbage ass rotations. They ran like 12 deep. They're working Jaden Ivey back into our guy. Jenkins went back to a very limited role despite a high ADP there. So we will give me 1 second, jump back over here. So what's happening with the Pistons is Cade goes 2 in every single draft there. Duran will probably, evergreen reminder, haven't looked at the projections and stuff like that prior to doing the show because I like to give my own takes first, but the stuff that I was looking at initially, it is a flowchart spot for bigs, 5s against the Pacers, and it is pace up. But Duren's probably going to project a little bit worse than this right now because we're introducing so many bodies back. Like Levert's going to get his. Beef Stew's still going to get his as part of a rotation. Jaden Ivey played 20 in his first game back, only 15. But there's another handling body there. Tobias came back as well, played 22. We might see a little uptick in Tobias, get up to that 28 range. They're so full right now that it's kind of like you want to play the studs, and then that's kind of it. I don't think I would be scrolling on this team. I mean, Asur at any moment can give you like a 5-stock outing or something like that. But man, the minutes have been really capped, and we're introducing all these bodies, particularly wing/handling depth, that like this rotation is going to be a dumpster fire tonight in a track meet game against the Pacers, that I don't want kind of anyone at the back end here. Like, could you spin zone like expanded run for Jenkins if the game plays to spread and he's out on the floor to close, and this like 13 when everybody's back turns back into 29 or 33? Sure, tell yourself that story. It's not going to fucking matter on a 7-game slate where our back end options in the last round are guys like JJJ and IQ and this sort of stuff, right? So yeah. Pistons are just going to be Cade and Duren for me. I am kind of excited just to see like, what they end up doing. Like at what point in time does Jaden Ivey maybe potentially return the starting unit? But it's probably just going to be Duncan Robinson for now, alongside that Asur, Harris, and Duren stuff there. Pacers side. Let me bring up injury report on the Pacers side real quick here. No Johnny Furphy, no Therese Halliburton, no QJ, aka Quentin Jackson. There, no Naismith, and no Obi Toppin still. So Benny Math is a fucking bucket, and he deserves. What am I doing there? He deserves the ADP in which he has because of the outputs, the box scores in which he's put together. Like he played 37 the other night, and this 34 game, I believe, was the game in which he had a little bit of foul trouble as well. Dude, he's just getting his every single night, 20 plus. I'd way rather play Benny Math on a night-to-night basis than play Siakam at ADP. Like, obviously, in a vacuum, you'd rather play Pascal, but like in terms of ADP dynamic, I would rather be overweight Benny Math at ADP today than be over on Siakam today. Yes, he is the truth. Good Canadian kid here. Yeah. The rest of the Pacers, like at ADP, is fine for me on Pascal. I don't want to have none, but like, man, the ceiling, it's just like, it's very similar to Bam. It's very similar to Julius Randle. Like these kind of guys that just routinely have to go in round 2 and 3, that even when they're in like good spots or bad spots, they just project about the same. They're such a focal point of the offense. Their floors are so high, but their right tail outcome ceilings aren't like earth shattering. Could this be the night that Siakam gets like 3 stocks instead of 1, and then all of a sudden he gets 50 instead of 42, or he puts up 30 instead of putting up 26 real life basketball points, and that's because then now he gets the 50? Yeah, absolutely. But if I'm the guy who's low-key underweight Siakam tonight, I don't think it's going to kill me. So I'm pretty happy to just kind of like mix and match in his tier. Benny Math is just like the guy that I'm kind of like, oh, I want to be overweight that. Isaiah Jackson, he's a walking foul problem. He just 2 quick ones every damn night. The ceiling and the double-double potential is there, but this is a bad matchup with Duren, so you don't want that smoke in any regard. Jay Huff, shout out to the best ball bags, has been playing very, very well in recent memory. This 40 was obviously a huge outlier against Charlotte. Hashtag the flow chart there. But yeah, Jarris Walker has been bad. Just flat out has been bad. They were doing the JRE in the starting lineup over him and stuff like that. I don't think there's much here for us, guys. Like, I think it's literally just Benny Math, a sprinkle of Nembhard in the last round if you want, and then at or around Siakam in terms of ADP. There's nothing that's jumping off the page of like, this is a spot I got to get to. Like, they still run pretty deep. They still run 3 centers. TJ still gets like 15 minutes. Like, it's Benny Math or low-key bust for me. And I want to be the guy who's ahead on the Benny Math stuff, because I think the eye test for me on Benny Math is like, this guy's a fucking dog. This guy's a hooper. Like, I just love Benny Math, but good Canadian kid. All right, speaking of Canadian, we're going to the Raptors here north of the border. We got Raptors and Cavs here, 232-1 in favor of the Raptors, which is Windhurst's up, because you guys obviously know what we got on the back end injury report there. This line has moved from, 2, 2.5, all that sort of stuff down to 1 based on the availability or lack thereof Darius Garland and Jared Allen. Sorry, brain fart. There's also no Hunter. He's been ruled out for rest. There's no Craig Porter Jr. There's still no Max Strus. There's no Sam Morrell. And then Dean Wade has a Q tag here. So in terms of like the redacted dynamics, like you're really going to be opening up like some salary here to find some scroll the F downs on the Cavs side. But the most reasonable dynamic is that Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley are just going at the top end of draft boards every single time, and rightfully so. They're going to project very well. I would be cognizant of how frequently you pair them together, because their ADPs line up right now perfectly at the 106, and people will just be doing the game stack over and over again because Scotty Barnes, aka Scotty Bolway, is sitting right there as well. People are going to be doing the game stack of the two, like 1, 1, and 1, or they're going to pair the two teammates together over and over and over again. So just be cognizant of that. It's not that it can't win. They're both going to have, large ceilings tonight. And when you pull out so many of these rotation pieces from here, and they're running so much of the offense through Mobley in these isolated scenarios in the past there, that I think it's fine to play them together. But I just don't want all of my stuff paired together. Like, I think Donovan Mitchell and Mobley are both really good pull up to the 103 category, candidates today. Because, like, in terms of projection, it's going to be like Joker by a landslide. Cade is going to go in the 2-hole every single time because he's going to be a couple points higher than the next one. And then the next tier of, like, Giddey, Avdia, Cat, the Cleveland guys are all going to project within, like, 1 or 2 points. So don't be stagnant and just keep Donovan Mitchell at the 106 all day long. Do some stuff to mix and match your patterns by taking him at the 103 and doing that, because otherwise everyone's combos are going to look the exact effing same on the back end of the draft board, and they're going to be kind of like slightly negatively correlated in terms of ceiling output. Okay, let's talk about the rest of Cleveland. I mean, it's very interesting because Lonzo Ball is going to be soft cap, just because he always is. 25, 23. Him and Cedric Coward, like the two guys in this world who could do more with more minutes, and we don't get them, kind of thing. Tyson, I expect him to be back in that. I mean, it's not a given, but I imagine he has to start today here, coming back from the concussion there. So I don't think it's playable on our site, but this 26, 22 minutes could definitely come up. Tomlin probably draws into the starting lineup in the absence of Hunter there. You get 21 minutes from him last time out yesterday. So I don't know, man. We could go try and find something that's like dumpster diving down here, but I think it's really just 36 players being drafted. Just hang around the top here. Larry Nance has a ceiling. We have seen a ceiling from him, but I imagine he's going to be soft capped as well in the same way Alonzo Ball is. Like, these are just guys that don't get fully extended, like these vet guys. So yeah. I the number one thing I can say about Cleveland is we're less concentrated on the scroll the F down guys, and we're more concentrated on the combos of the top end guys, and not just always pairing them together because their ceilings somewhat cannibalize one another. If you had to force me to play a scroll down, I think it's Lonzo Ball, just because the rates are so high when he gets like that 25 to 28 minutes. The problem is we know he's soft capped, and there's going to be other guys in the last round that we can find 37 minutes. We can find 35 minutes from in the 6th round tonight on a 7th gamer that like his rates only playing 25 minutes aren't strong enough to like fully matter, even though Toronto is pace up and kind of like a fun one. Yeah. This would be the fun play of the night is Craig Porter Jr., aka Gary Porter Jr. would be a lot of fun this evening if he were available. Yes, absolutely. I mean, Dean Wade, could fill it up from 3 a little bit. I don't know, man. It's so thin. It's just basically the stars. Let's move to the Raptors side because I think this is the side we would rather play. I have a little bit of concerns this evening on IQ, but let me reserve those just for like half a second. Okay, Scotty Barnes is fine at ADP. I like it. BI has been a bucket for the last like week and a half, playing some really nice basketball. Stocks are up too. Like he had a really nice end of game shot block, both him and Scotty Barnes in the last 7 seconds there. He's playing good basketball. He did roll his ankle the other night, and then it was this Washington game where they let the starters run in the cup game a little bit longer than this, but then he came back out on Sunday yesterday and played 35. So I'm not concerned at all, but as a dude who's had some injury history and his ankles, watching him leave a game, 2 or 3 minutes before the other starters got taken out because of a rolled ankle was like, whoa, come on, please. No. But the biggest factor here is RJ Barrett is going for imaging. He's already been ruled out in this one. So we get a team that we like to play on most nights anyways, and we get them slightly more condensed tonight. They will have 3 centers available, which kind of cuts into the Jakob Poeltl potential ceiling there because Mamu's really good just in general, like off the bench. Like he's a lot of fun. He's a really good basketball player and deserves playing time, and they rarely ever do the double big stuff. Oji Akbaji is back as well. We have seen them start him in the past in the absence of guys. So that's one potential to start if you want to play like a little bit more size like that. I think it's more likely that Jacoby Walters starts tonight. I don't think you can play him in our game. I think I'd rather play Jamal Shed off the bench. But like if Jamal starts, so here's my potential problem in parentheses with Emmanuel Quickley tonight is if Jamal Shed starts alongside him, and there has been a little bit of overlap with them, he's the guy who leads the team in potential assists. Now, I still think IQ will be primary handler for their overlap minutes, and that still has me liking IQ, but I'm just going to say that I will like IQ ever so slightly less if we get a starting lineup prior to tip that has these two playing alongside each other. My guy AZ Cards, Mr. John, can't wait to buy you a beer in 2 weeks. Appreciate that, my friend. I will drink that beer with pride. But I do have really good news for you when it comes to the Dog Bowl is I don't think you'll have to spend any money on beer, my friend. Don't you worry. Outside of that, I think it's literally just Jakob Poeltl's still in play, obviously, as well. But a little bit of a downtick in recent memory there. They didn't need him in the Washington, and they rested him on the front end of the back-to-back there. Man, Mamu is nice with it, and he plays. He's a really good fantasy producer too. And when they have 3 centers on certain nights, those are the nights where I want to play less Jakob Poeltl. Is basically where I'm at. So I would rank it out like this in terms of these 5. I think the models will like IQ more than his ADP right now. So he'll be a big time riser, but I definitely want all pieces, like 5 of these, like one of these pieces, or I want like 5 of these guys, or one of these 5 in a lot of my lineups. Like I like the spot just in general. Okay, let's keep pushing. That was a lot of words for like a pretty quote unquote simplistic game relative to our site. Nets and Knicks here. Knicks are 13-point favorites in the unabated line here, and this is a 228 here. Nets have been playing slow. I like Cat on nights where Mitchell Robinson is out there ever so slightly less. That being said, Mitchell Robinson has a Q tag today with an illness. They are missing OG Anunoby and they are missing Landry Shamet this evening. So what is that going to do in terms of shakeup to their starting unit? Can we get Josh Hart in there? Can we get Jordan Clarkson has been, known to step in these moments here. If Mitchell Robinson is in, I imagine it's the Brunson, Bridges, Cat for sure, no matter who's in there, right? They could do the Miles McBride and Mitchell Robinson. They could do Clarkson and Mitchell Robinson. They could do Josh Hart, but they haven't been doing Josh Hart. Josh Hart has kind of been in the same role as Jaime Jaquez, where they both are like sixth man, but they still play 30 or 33 off the bench. I imagine they leave Josh Hart in that role this evening, but nobody's taking Josh Hart in the last round, and he's a walking triple-double when he gets big minutes, especially against, quote-unquote inferior basketball teams. Now, this isn't the best matchup in the world for rebounding, but like with Claxton on the other side and Noah Clowney and that sort of stuff. But I think Josh Hart should be getting drafted at least some frequency. Now, if this game plays to spread as well, who stays on the court the longest for like quote unquote blowout run? It's probably Jordan Clarkson. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't necessarily want to play it. Like, don't get me wrong. This is the year 2025, and we're talking about a Jordan Clarkson start and then Jordan Clarkson get expanded, even if it runs to total. But like, let's take a look at the Knicks here. He's free in the last round. Nobody's touched him. I don't know, 33 minutes on Friday night, was that? Friday night for 33 minutes. He can get his shots up, like that sort of thing. I will probably just keep it to the top 4 here, but I don't think it would be the strangest thing in the world if Jordan Clarkson started tonight and Jordan Clarkson played 33 minutes. Just putting it on people's radar. He's got no ADP. It's probably way too deep for our game, and I think you're probably just way better off taking the contrarian leverage of playing Josh Hart in the last round. But if Josh Hart's going to be like, 28, 30% owned in our contest, like, it's an okay enough spot that if you get 30 minutes from McBride or Clarkson, that they could matter, but it definitely lacks ceiling. So probably just keeping it to those 4. I won't have Cat at 4 unless we definitively have the Mitchell Robinson out news, or if we lose like Claxton on the other side or something like that. I just think his rebound reading rates get cannibalized like pretty decently when we get Mitchell Robinson out on the floor alongside him and he's at the 4. Yeah. Nets side, man, Michael Porter Jr. has been getting it done across all categories. He's pretty fun. Just stealing floor, every category combination. He's entirely deserving of his ADP. Most nights he will project worse than his ADP, but you definitely want to have some exposure to him. I definitely want to have some exposure to him this evening. So I will be selecting him at about 13, 14 in my rankings there. 13, 14, 15, somewhere in there to just make sure I have exposure for this one. Also, Bridges, revenge game tonight. I don't know. Does he have that revenge in his heart? Claxton has the P tag on the second night of the back-to-back. I think he's probably good to go. Maybe there's a push-pull dynamic that if Mitch Rob plays, he's more likely to play or whatever. But I think he's okay. I think he's fine to play this evening. I think Noah Clowney is really interesting leverage off of the two of them, and we've seen some ceiling in the past from him and big-time minutes here. If you want to play Noah Clowney in the last round, I wouldn't kill you for it. I think it's a very interesting play, but I think there's probably better scrolls on the slate, but he could definitely be in your pool. The one thing I will put on people's radars is Daron Sharp. When we get the Claxton out game and we get Daron Sharp starting at the 5, he's a monster from a rates perspective. So if you get Claxton out, he'll probably project as the 25th. Nah, that's probably a little high. He'll probably project as like the 28th to 32nd best player on the slate. And if you get like, a swap opportunity later in the day where everyone's just jamming like PJ Washington and I don't know, whoever else is available in that tier right now, and the default swap is like 80% owned Let's think of a good one here. If the default swap is like 80% owned Jakob Poeltl or 8% owned Day'Ron Sharpe, I'll take the swing on Sharpe tonight. Yeah. But that's some real sicko gal brain deep down the rabbit hole shit there. For the most part, it's just Claxton and MPJ here on the Nets side. Let's keep moving. Heat is a really interesting spot today. Mavericks is a really interesting spot too, with a doubtful tag on Anthony Davis. We played that rope-a-dope game with the Q tag for, God, what was it, a week and a half there? And then they finally ruled him out for a 2-week stretch. And now, who knows, maybe he's coming back. I thought this was really interesting that the unabated line here, 241.5, is like considerably bigger than some of the other spots on the slate there. 7.5 by way of the Heat here. Heat have a pretty loaded injury report. We have a probable tag on Tyler Hero on the site. Let me get the most recent iteration of the injury report here just to confirm, to see what his actual listing still is. On the Heat, okay, so Tyler Hero has a questionable tag still on the injury report for what it's worth. Yeah, so that's interesting because he has a probable tag on the on the site, and there is a, kind of like just a, hey, we think he's going to go tonight. I have no idea what Tyler Hero's minutes are going to look like. Allegedly, he's been practicing full for like 2 weeks or something like this. I don't know, man. I think he just jumps back in to the starting lineup and they go like Davion, Hero, Bam. And then the question is, who's next, right? Because we're in a situation here where there's no Wiggins, there's no Norm Powell, there's no fake Joker, aka Nikola Jovic. Yeah, so what does this starting unit look like tonight, and what does this open up? I think regardless of what happens with the starting lineup, it's probably Jaime Jaquez is like my favorite ADP on the slate right now, period. I imagine they'll still keep Pelle Larsson in there. Yeah, the most likely thing that they do is the double big lineup with Ware and Bam, and then they go like Hero and Davion, and then they keep Pelle Larsson in there, but then Jaime Jaquez still plays 30 off of the bench kind of thing. That would be like my best guess. And with Hero soft capped, like Jaime Jaquez just becomes like such a nice play. Khalil Ware, if you want him, he's probably not going to project anywhere near his ADP. But if you want to keep chasing the box scores and chasing the player that he's shown that he can be here, even with Bam back in the fold, like these 20 and 16s, 20 and 14s, big 45s, 46s from him. I won't fault you if you want to keep him there, but I bet the hashtag models tell you not to. Yeah, it's just kind of like a play Bam in and around ADP relative to your risk tolerance. He was soft capped first time out, and then the kind of like, they took the shackles off. He gets to go almost full with that 32, right? They just let him run. So I think my favorite play relative to ADP is Jaime Jaquez. I think Tyler Hero in the last round and just being like, hey, he plays 28 minutes and he fills it up from 3 in a high total game against a G League-esque Dallas team. That might be a little harsh, but yeah. Yeah. Okay. So Edgar's saying the models have Ware at ADP. Okay. Then yeah, have them as part of your pool for sure. Yeah. Some people may be taking Jaime Jaquez at pick 18. Holy shit. The cat's out of the bag on Jaime, eh? Like I was taking him in the 5th round and thought I was sharp this morning. So the models obviously love him. He's going to be a projection darling and people are going to be jamming him. So his ADP is fake right now. Okay. All right. Well, that gets me a little less excited about, if I could sneak one by on people to pair him with like your Joker teams or something. Yeah, but I think it's basically just playing these 4. Davion always has a stock ceiling. He can fill it up at times too. He's number one handler on the team, number one in potential assists, I believe, on the team. Or he was the last time I looked. Davion's fine, but it kind of lacks ceiling in comparison to some of the other 6th rounders there. But if you want to keep him in your pool, I think it's fine. But yeah, I think Jaime would be my second favorite of this group. Bam, Jaime, Ware, then Hero is how I'd rank it out. The Mavs side is really interesting here because we're dealing with a laundry list of Q tags, as we said. Cooper Flag's available to play this evening, but we're without Derek Lively again here, and we have a doubtful tag on Anthony Davis. If you want to play the doubtful tag, 22 to 25 minutes of limited Anthony Davis in the last round is better than any other 6th round pick, and you want to take the D tag, since they've changed the rules on being able to swap the D tag, I think it's a viable strategy. I'll probably not do it because I don't think there's a chance he plays tonight, and I don't think he plays full. But if you just want to take like the swap equity, or you want to, not be completely tethered to JJJ and, Vooch in the last round who have Q tags right now. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's the worst idea in the world. How about that? If you did get, 23 minutes of him tonight, and they did like kind of split the 5 thing as they soft work him back in. Yeah, I mean, it's probably fine, but it's more of a placeholder for a swap. My favorite pick right now associated with this, I think Flag's okay. I think PJ Washington's okay. I think it's an up-tempo game. It's got good pace. There's going to be a lot of opportunity here with the missing Q tags. My favorite player right now is Brandon Williams. I think Brandon Williams with a flat 36 ADP in the last round with the Q tag, he went through shoot around. I think Brandon Williams, maybe he doesn't have full slate break ceiling, but I think in the same vein that Davion Mitchell could, shock the world from the back end of draft boards here. I think it's kind of a sneaky play if he starts tonight. D'Lo expected to be back tonight, so maybe that cannibalizes some of the Galbrain nature of this play. But I do think Brandon Williams continues to start. I don't think it's the best matchup in the world for him, but I do think it is sneaky in the last round. I think Najee probably won't play enough to matter. I think D'Lo probably won't play enough to matter. But yeah, if you wanted the contrarian leverage off of these guys going every single time, there it is. And then Gafford. Gafford's always in play for me. He just shows a ceiling, but the minutes have been there recently without Lively and without AD. So you're going to be most likely without both of them again this evening. He could just get, a nice 27 at the 5 there. And it's not, it's not a great matchup going against Bam, who's a really good defender, and going against Cleo Ware in those twin towers, but it definitely has some ceiling. Yeah, draft Williams and then swap to D'Lo if he sits. I think that's entirely fine. Yeah. Okay, here. Courtside Magic saying, what is the D tag rule? It is the same as a Q tag now. So the D tag, when they changed the coloring of this now, you used to click on the player and then it would bring up a prompt. Are you sure you want to draft this player? This player is not swap eligible. That's not the same anymore. That's been changed. The D tag is now the exact same as a Q tag. So if you take Anthony Davis in the last round, it is Bound is saying in the chat right now, it is staying on the clock longer. It is a swap leverage play because we really don't think he's going to play tonight, especially because he has a doubtful instead of a Q. And you can just wait to swap into a better projecting play at lock if we get one. Now, it is high variance, obviously, because you could be swapping if you took him in every single draft in the last round, you could be swapping into 40% of one isolated player who is not the best or not the most stable projecting player. Let's call it that. So there's a ton of leverage that is introduced by doing so, but there's also a ton of variance, and it's a risk tolerance exercise for sure. But at least it's a viable strategy in play now, and it wasn't in years past. Let's keep going here. Blazers and Bucks. That's got a nice ring to it. Unabated has this one as a pick'em. This is a 230 total, which is a little bit lower than I thought, guys. I thought this one was going to come in a little bit higher. Heat and Blazers have been, the rapid fire pace guys that we've been chasing right? But we did get the Blazers to report on the back-to-back here. Jrue Holiday is still out for them. Obviously, Scoot Henderson is still out, and Blake Wesley's still out. But we lost Shaedon Sharpe and Matisse Thybulle from this one. And then on the Bucks side, we're just dealing with Giannis, obviously, who is still out, and then Kevin Porter Jr. and Tyrone Prince, who are still out there. Time Lord has been listed, a.k.a. Robert Williams III, has been listed available to play. So that kind of caps a little bit the minute ceiling of Klingon, and Klingon's been going at some frequency in the last round there. So, yeah, what happens this evening now in terms of, starting lineup and what we anticipate seeing here from the Blazers? I think Grant is probably really safe and probably becomes a pretty good projecting last round play. I think Denny Avdia is obviously a smash in the first round on your non-Joker teams, non-Cade teams. I think Denny Avdia is pick 3, pick 4, pick 5. I don't want to be so stagnant as to tell you to just lock him at like 3 or 5, but he's going to project really well. Like him, Donovan Mitchell, and Kat are probably all going to project in a very similar tier. Toumani Camara, I always say it lacks a little bit of ceiling for our games, but the minutes will be safe. He'll always have the tough defensive assignment. He'll give you some stock upside. He's available in the last round as well. I'm a little bit scared of this Klingon. When Klingon becomes like quote unquote chalk, it's kind of like, tap the rules sign. He definitely has some ceiling here. But when he gets drafted at 100% frequency, he becomes like a guy that I look to get leverage off of, right? He didn't play, full last night because OKC didn't play the starters, because of OKC, they didn't have to run the starters deep into the ball game. So that's probably a good thing. But man, if you're ceiling shooting back here as scrolls, I think it's Grant and I think it's Caleb Love. I think Toumani is fine, but like, even when the minutes are there, guys, like it's such a low usage rate. It's such a low ceiling. It needs to come with like 5 stocks or something like that. Time Lord won't play enough to matter, but he can do a lot with a little, but he'll probably play like just backup 4 run and play like, 15, 16 minutes there. Chris Murray could shoot the 3 or whatever, but yeah, I think it's Grant or Caleb Love. And I think Grant is probably like my favorite play down here. You could get like 33 from him. You could get him drawing into the starting lineup. Let's go to the Bucks side here. Yes, the ball knowers in the chat are reading the rules back to me. The ball knowers in the chat. Yes, Klingon is Miles Turner. Yes, that is I would say Klingon is not Miles Turner in terms of ceiling outcome. Like we haven't seen Miles Turner ceiling in a year now. Klingon definitely has that monster ceiling, but it's definitely tap the sign when he's getting 100% drafted and he might only play 27 minutes. I think we can find pivots off of it when just given the ownership discount. I think they're bad take. Cool. I mean, I get the thesis of the take in terms of ownership thresholds and guys to draft when they're not 100% drafted versus their good leverage plays when they're not 100% drafted. I butchered that sentence, but you guys know what I mean. Where it's like, I want to play Klingon on the nights where Time Lord's unavailable. It's not a back-to-back, and he is going at like pick 35.6, not when he's going at pick 29 and he's 90% owned, right? Yes. Shout out to Ryan Rollins for taking KPJ's job. Yes. Ryan Rollins is going to be, he's going to project better than 14 here. He's probably going to be 8, 9, 10th player off the board as the day goes on. He's probably going to get steamed to a point where you no longer can put him on your Joker teams. So I would be trying to put him on some of my Joker teams right now. The fun conversations are, what are you doing with the rest of the guys, and what are we doing with like the potential Miles Turner, the Bobby Portis ceiling? I like Bobby Portis in the last round. We saw a little bit of ceiling from him last time out. He started He played he should have played longer than this in the Detroit game, but the Detroit game got out of reach. So, yeah, we're getting a news dump right now on the unabated side. It's all for the late slate. Draymond Green is out. Grayson Allen is out again. Ryan Dunn is out. Big Mark Dubb, aka Mark Williams, is out this evening. Rasheer Fleming is questionable. Hand up. I think this might be the first one this year, guys. Hand up of a guy I don't know. That might be the first one this year that's come across, and I've been like, I honestly don't know who that is. Huh. And then Paulo's out for tomorrow's slate. So, yeah. KPJ would have been ADP 7 tonight if he wasn't injured. Yeah, I fully agree with you. He would. He would. Yeah. It's Taysom Hill in this slate. Yeah, Taysom Hill is Bobby Portis in the last round. That's the Taysom Hill of this. Yeah. Johnny Football saying he plays Klingon more like he plays Jared Allen. I mean, similar comp where it's like you play him on the nights where he's cheap. You don't jam him on the nights where he gets steamed up. Similar comp. People have been jamming Kuzma in the absence of Giannis here. I will not be. Again, the minutes got cut short because of the blowout stuff in that Detroit game. If you want to take Kuzma in the last round, go for it. This is a paced-up environment. Kuzma has had a couple ceiling outputs this season, but I prefer Bobby Portis. I will soft fade Miles Turner at ADP, even though he will project decently well in that spot. Yeah, we just fucking haven't seen it, man. We just haven't seen it. And when Giannis is out, like, it just so much funnels away from him. So, yeah, Ryan Rollins is a priority for me right now, which is hard for me to say because I truly did not think he was going to be this good to start the season. But I'm capitulating. We will take him in the second round or back end of the second round there. Probably, if I had to look at the tiers right now, I'll probably take him I'll take Brunson over him. I'll take Scotty Barnes over him. I'll probably take him in this little like pocket of Siakam, Duran, Bam. I'll have him a little bit higher, but I will not be rushing to the podium to take him at like 5, 6, 7 today. Yeah, Bobby Portis, good leverage in the last round. Would not pair Miles Turner and Bobby Portis together. Probably would not pair Ryan Rollins and Bobby Portis, though I do think that one can get home. That was a much better pairing. Memphis at home here, 235.5, 8-point dogs to Joker and the Nuggets. They're going to be missing some bodies this evening, and we do not know what to do with the Q tag on the other side for Jaren Jackson Jr. yet. So no Christian Brown, no Aaron Gordon, and no Julian Strother still. And then we have a Ty Jerome out tag, a John Morant out tag, a Scottie Pippen Jr. out tag, a.k.a. all the lead handlers of the Grizzlies on the other side. And then we have Jaren Jackson Jr., who had a doubtful tag for 2 straight slates and then a Q tag. If I had to guess, guys, I think Jaren Jackson Jr. is back tonight. The right ankle sprain, like he played through the sprain the rest of the game. Then it swelled up after. Then they did the doubtful, and then did the Q tag. The Grizzlies are very forthcoming with their injury report. Obviously, be on Starters Jersey Watch, be on, go listen to Gallagher or whatever. It will tell us a lot here. I'm in team JJJ plays tonight. He usually has the highest minute ceiling out of anyone on the team, but these rotations have been really hard to parse through. We've talked about how they've been doing the line shift chains. We've talked about how Edey is soft capped, how Coward is soft capped. Like, even when we thought the cap was going to get removed on Coward, he's still not playing over 25. It's very tilting. I don't really want any part of this team, man. I was chasing this dragon over and over again of like, can it be a Spencer night? Can it be a Vince Williams night? Can it be a Santi night? Unless we get JJJ ruled out, I think JJJ is fine in the last round. I think Edey is fine in the last round. I think Coward, to a lesser extent, is okay in the last round. I think Vince Williams, with the handling role, has been very nice. He probably has a bit of ceiling to him that we could play. But, man, I don't want to play this team right now. I don't want to play 25 minutes of anyone. The only guy I'd want to play is Santi Aldama if JJJ is out, because we've seen a minute ceiling in that scenario before. So, yeah, let's take a look at Memphis in terms of their ADPs. KCP to the Shadow Realm. Jalen Wells is just like, he just gets the start every time out and just does nothing. Like, he's just out there as the fourth option kind of guy. I love Cedric Coward. I think he's a great basketball player. I'm really bullish on his future. I love watching him play, but man, like, if he's going to be soft capped at 25, like, we just can't do it, man. We can't do it. I guess Edey is probably my favorite click right now. They've been running a good portion of their offense through him without JJJ around, but maybe that dynamic changes a little bit when JJJ gets reinserted into the lineup here. We all want JJJ to take that 30% usage bump step that we have seen in the past. JJJ playing basketball tonight and playing 30 minutes is going to project so much better than this. But man, I just don't have the fucking heart to keep jamming it every single slate, because I watch the games and I see the eye test and he looks so fucking passive and his jumper looks atrocious. His 3-point shot looks terrible right now. Like, I can't keep doing this. And one day, maybe it burns me, but I can't, guys. I have quit. I've officially quit. I have the Nicorette patch for JJJ and Ja right now. I don't want to do it. I want him to be ruled out so that I could swap to Santi, or I could take Santi in the last round or something like this, because my heart can only take so much. And I don't really want a spot like this where they're going to play a little bit up-tempo, a little bit of track meet, even though Denver likes to slow shit down. And, what if Joker just drops like 40 fantasy points in the first half on their heads and goes, oh yeah, by the way, nobody on this other side of this ball game is going to matter at all, right? So, yeah. I'm not going to do the late slate today. No. Yeah. Yeah, this is true. Yeah, like, if you want this is the problem right now that Nick is saying, is people are drafting Santi. He's not necessarily 100% going to be available for your swaps. So if you want to play the Santi Aldama route right now, you got to just take him in the last round. You're not necessarily going to have him available for swaps if JJJ is out. So it is a tough scenario. And as I said, I'm on the record. I think JJJ plays basketball tonight. I think Memphis is very forthcoming with the way they've done their injury reports for years now, with the progressional tags. But yeah, that's a starter's jersey question there. Serious question. Dog Bowl event have a spectator value of some kind? Yeah, I mean, like, I have a +1 of a buddy who is just really into DFS and into drafting on Underdog, who happens to be in Kansas City at the same time, and I'm gonna give him a buddy pass to come out. It's like invite only and stuff like that, so you can't really just like get a buddy pass or get whatever. But members of the community have come in the past or been afforded the opportunity, if you are a high volume player on the site or something like that and happen to live in the surrounding area. Guys have been invited before. I mean, it's a bunch of people sitting around sweating the games together, like-minded, talking about the games. It's effectively like this stream and this show, but in real life for 3 days. So there's definitely big time appeal. I wouldn't say there's like spectator appeal, but like there is a live sweat leaderboard and you can see guys moving up and down in tandem with watching Red Zone and like that sort of stuff. So it's a very fun experience, but I wouldn't say it's like a, get your popcorn ready for a spectator sport. It's more like a mingle, right? It's yeah. Yeah, I think Vince Williams' handling role is really interesting. The potential assists haven't been as high as the actual assists, but he's been making good on the stuff. He's had some really nice box scores. The minutes have been a little bit down for him because they are doing the full line change shifts of like staggering. The problem with this team is minutes, right? And if we knew anyone was playing north of 30, we would want them this evening and we'd want them in the last round. But I think Santi is the kind of only guy if JJJ is out. And if JJJ is in, JJJ is the only guy that can push like that 30 threshold this evening. I want to take Edey. I want to take Vince Williams, and I want to take Cedric Coward, but I probably think there's not enough minutes there outside of maybe Edey getting it done in 28. Oh shit, did not mean to click that. Yeah, let's talk about the Nuggets side here. As I said, no Christian Brown, no Aaron Gordon, and no Julian Strawther. This is a Jokic slate. Take Joker. I think it's fine to pair him with Jamal on occasion because of the potentials and because of the assist rate. But if both of them go nuke on a 7-game slate, it probably means they didn't have to play into the fourth quarter in this game. So I do think they cannibalize ceiling ever so slightly. I think it's fine to do, 1 or 2 in your portfolio of the two of them together, but I'm not going to have it as a big portion this evening. I think Jamal's fine in the third round. I probably won't push him up any higher than that, other than the occasional time to pair with my Jokic teams. So those two are the big ones there. And then I guess the only other player I want this evening from Denver, Cam Johnson, we want to get excited about it, but he just lacks ceiling right now, man. I really wanted him to go into that Michael Porter Jr. role. It's been a nice uptick in recent memory. The 3 ball has been falling. The minutes are coming up, but we still haven't seen full ceiling Cam Johnson as an auxiliary piece in this. You know who we have seen it from? That's from Peyton Watson, man. And Peyton Watson presumably starts this evening, has a high minute ceiling, and probably is the guy who stays out longest if this game pushes to spread and pushes to game total. I like taking some swings on Peyton Watson in the last round tonight. Multi-category guy can create his own. I'm here for it, man. I'm here for it in a decent way. So I will be mixing and matching him in the last round there. I believe he starts yet again there. And then I think probably Spencer Jones draws into the starting lineup for the second time in a row, but that's not a given. And it's probably definitely, I'm going to say probably not. It's definitely not playable. It's not a guy from a fantasy standpoint that's going to impact. So if you want to scroll, it's Peyton Watson and it's Cam Johnson. And I have a slight lean to playing Peyton Watson over Cam Johnson. But we are going to eventually get 40 burger Cam Johnson where, he ices 10 threes or whatever, 8 threes in a game, 7 threes in a game, and really matters. So yeah. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Beast Riff. I got an invite. Was unaware they did that. Very cool. Nice. That's awesome, man. Look forward to it. Definitely come. But yeah, it's definitely spectator sport or with your wife or whatever. Yeah, not so much. Do they have any UD social events? Seems like the Dog Bowl would be a good way to grow the community. I fully agree, man. Something we've talked about a lot. Something we've talked about with the loyalty team a little bit. Something that we want to spearhead. Obviously, we've always done the ship chasing stuff, or not we. I'm not technically part of the ship chasers, but I always attended them in tandem with Pete and Pat and Gretchen stuff. So that was kind of the one Discord community meetup. But yeah, I do think it would go a long way to have some UD social meetups. They had the cardio club meetup, and Pete's done a couple of those. He's done one in New York and one in Boston in the past there. So yes, it's definitely being talked about, and it's definitely something that's on their radar behind closed doors here. I every time I see Gator, who's a member of the loyalty team and part of the Top Dogs program, and is really in charge of treating the high roller members on the site really well. They do isolated events throughout the year. We've always talked about hey, let's do a game, let's do a get together, let's do a get a box and that sort of thing, right? Yeah. Give me a couple drinks and a microphone, and that's the social event of the weekend, AMAX says. Perfect. That's basically what I'll be doing all next weekend. So, or 2 weekends from now. Yeah. Okay, let's jump back to the beautiful Unabated interface. Last game on our slate here. We got the Bulls and we got the Pelicans. Highest total on the slate at 243, according to the good people at Unabated, and a 5.5 by way of the Bulls here. Bulls are on the second night of the back-to-back. And we see Vooch, our guy Vooch, has a Q tag. And it's interesting because Vooch is, generally speaking, not a dude who receives Q tags. So my Windhursts go up a little bit in this one, but there are a lot of moving pieces here because we are still without Zach Collins. There's no Isaac Okoro. There is no Dalen Terry. And then there's Q tags on Vooch, Kevin Huerter, and Patrick Williams. There's also been a soft minutes cap on Kobe White. Kobe White, I believe, has not played north of 30 yet. And 28 was last time out. He did miss the back-to-back last time out. He played 30, then sat the back-to-back. Then he played 27 and then sat the game in Miami. Then he played 31 on Friday night and is going to play his first, it's not a back-to-back, but his first 2 games in a row he's going to play. I like Kobe White tonight. I like him at ADP. I like him if he only plays 30 minutes. I really like Kobe White. Kobe White is a basketball player that I get really excited to play on a given night. He cannibalizes. Both him and Trey Jones have the potential to cannibalize Josh Giddey from a handling standpoint to start. But yeah, I think Kobe White draws back into the starting lineup tonight. I think it's him, Giddey, Buzelis, Io, and then Vooch if he goes. Yeah, but my Windhursts are up on Vooch. I will take him if he falls. But yeah, this game, the spread's going to push if Vooch is unavailable here. And they'll probably be forced to play. Let me think about this. They'll probably be forced to play Jalen Smith like a good chunk, right? Yeah. Especially if Patrick Williams isn't available. Huerter's missed a couple here too. So like, man, Chicago could be like pretty thin or they could be pretty flat in terms of available bodies, run a little bit deeper than you're accustomed to, and then have a bunch of guys on minutes limits and a bunch of guys who soak usage based on how the Q tags break. So the push-pull dynamic of like Giddey's going to look a lot better if Vooch is out, if Huerter's out, if Patrick Williams is out, right? Yeah. Interesting stuff. In terms of Chicago, like Giddey is fine at the front end of draft boards, obviously. I saw Vooch falling to like the 5th round and stuff. I would definitely click him in the 5th or the 6th and then play it as if he plays or then swap off of it. I probably won't pair a lot of the Chicago guys together because I do think they kind of cannibalize one another despite the total here. But I think if I did, I would put Giddey and Vooch together. I think that would probably be my favorite. Jalen Smith, I don't think you're even going to swap to him if we get him. Like he's probably just going to play 20 at the 5, and then the minutes are going to be spread throughout. They'll play some small ball stuff. Io's like a mean projection guy. So like, he'll project like he can be a 6th rounder if all the other Q tags are out, but you probably don't want to play it. Right tail outcome guys are like Giddey, White, and Buzelis. I probably will play a little bit of Montas in the last round, but yeah, he did. Yeah, I don't know, man. This is basically Giddey, Kobe White, and falling Vooch for me, and that's it. Unless I'm jamming at lock and we get no Vooch, no Huerter, and we get no Patrick Williams, then I will definitely jam like some Buzelis at lock, maybe a cheeky Jalen Smith or 2. But yeah. Yeah, I got Vooch with the last pick with my Joker lineup, says Courtside Magic. Yeah, I mean, that's legit, dude. Like, that's exactly what you want to do. Like, you want to encapsulate that. Yeah, Jalen Smith will project well. Yes, you're 100%. Yeah, you're 100% right. But can we get more than 24 minutes of Jalen Smith? I don't know. Maybe that's enough because he is a decent rates guy, and they will need the size. They will need him. He might be a good contrarian swap. He might be a cheeky last round click. He definitely has right tail outcomes. Like, I'd rather play him than Io. I don't know. I won't play Trey Jones. That it's kind of gross when the handling role gets cannibalized by like all the handlers being in, like Giddey, White, and Trey Jones, and like there's just not going to be an overlap. So like, maybe the White ceiling is like a little bit lower than I'm giving credit right now, especially if the minutes limit is still like in that 28 to 31. Yeah. Yeah, he'll definitely project well. Yeah. I'm trying to think of a good comp from like a player style / inserting to the starting lineup. Like, I don't know. Maybe it'll come to me. Yeah. And then we get to the Pels, man. So I threw out a tweet the other night that only Mike engaged with on Friday night there. And I just said, like, what if the Pels were right, man? What if Derek Queen is that dude? You know, what if they were right? I really like the way he's playing right now. I really like watching him. Joker was very complimentary of him the other night. They're playing a bit faster with him. Bound pointed that one out in the chat earlier, that they are playing a little bit faster. It is clearly cannibalizing the ceiling of Zion ever so slightly. Zion is definitely still in this cap range. I don't know, guys. Would it be the craziest thing in the world if I told you tonight we could play Derek Queen over Zion? Like, I'm not sure that we're there yet. But, like, is that fucking crazy? Is that crazy? I don't know. I want to have a lot of Derek Queen this evening. I think he's a lot of fun. I think it's the flowchart spot. I think they're running a lot of the offense through him. I think the minutes have been very solid since the coaching change. I want to jam Derek Queen tonight. I want to jam Derek Queen tonight. Eggers is already doing it. Not crazy. Okay. No, not Naz Reid. Not Naz Reid. B-Ball Paul with horrible PR. There you go. Daron Sharp. Yeah, not bad. Yeah. So this is where I'm at, guys. On the Pels side this evening, obviously, they're still without DeJounte Murray and Jordan Poole. So they're without some lead handling there. Carlo Makovic is out as well, who sometimes plays some 4 and some rotational 4 there. Jordan Hawkins is out. Herb Jones is out, so we're not going to have to deal with the defensive treatment on the other side for the Bulls. So you don't have to deal with the Herb treatment for some of their lead handlers, which is bullish for the Bulls side of the guys. And then Kevin Looney has been listed available to play this evening. So, yeah, I think Trey Murphy's okay. I think it's fine. I think it's fine at ADP. I think I want to be like the Zion and Derek Queen guy tonight, and I don't want to pair them together. So I think I want one of these guys in a decent amount of my lineups in the second or third round. And I don't think it's crazy. And maybe we're just misremembering. You know, maybe this is a recency bias take. Maybe we're misremembering what a Zion ceiling looks like because it's been so long since we saw the slate breaking, 33 minutes. Zion gets you 65 fantasy points. But like, if I'm playing this right now, my heart really wants to play 33 minutes of Derek Queen over 28 minutes of Zion. Yeah. All right, here you go. Queen enhances Zion's ceiling. Pick and roll, gonna go crazy. Zion, 0 effort, closeout game on the line. Okay. I'll listen to Kyle on that. Yeah, see, here's the thing, Bound. Even if the Pels were right, the Pels were wrong, right? Because you didn't, I don't know. This was my argument, was like, obviously no spreadsheet, no sports personality, whatever, will ever tell you that the trade they made was worth, like how good, let me reframe it. How good does Derek Queen have to be to warrant the capital that they gave up to get Derek Queen? Like, does he have to be Vooch? Does he have to be, like, I'm trying to start low. You get where I'm going with this. Like, if he's Miles Turner, like they still gave up too much, right? Like, he literally has to be Baby Jokic Like, he literally has to be like a top 15 player in this league for the next 10 years. I mean, maybe that's hyperbole, but like, he's got to be like, he has to be that good to warrant how much they've given up, right? Yeah, so this is the thing. Mookie brings up a good point, and I don't like to frame it this way, but this is unfortunately what's going to happen. Is he's just going to get compared to whoever gets drafted with the pick next year, right? Like, that's 100% what's going to happen. He has to be better than that person times like infinity, and then he has to be another replacement level player added better as well. Like, it's fucked, man. I don't know. It's crazy because you just don't make trades like this in the NBA, especially in the modern era of NBA. Anyways. Yeah. Amax saying, is Zion one of the worst cases of what could have been of all time? I'm not willing to go there yet. I mean, like, I'm not willing to go, full 30 for 30, the best that never was documentary on Zion yet. Like, Zion's still pretty young. He's gotten a lot healthier in terms of the way he looks aesthetically, dropping the weight and that sort of thing. I mean, no, okay, guys, Boogie Cousins was like a really good basketball player. Like, yeah, sure, it didn't fully pan out to the degree in which like everyone wanted to, but that's not like a best that never was story. That's like a super uber talented dude who played in the league and was like a multi-time all-star and still was like still stuck around later in his career to do like the bench rotation Warriors era. Like, that's not a best that never was. Like, Greg Oden is a good one. Like, Greg Oden, Brandon Roy, like, those are like best that never was guys, Like, I would say like Derrick Rose, even though he had like the resurgent end of his career and stuff like that, he's not even in the conversation of best that never was, but like, he's in the conversation of like dudes who had like injuries. Like, what if he didn't get injured? Like, there's two categories. There's best that never was, and then there's also like dudes that we wish just stayed healthy forever. And like, Derrick Rose is in the conversation with like Ken Griffey Jr. and like these archetypes of players that like we just wish they never had the injuries and what could have happened, right? Yeah. Fierce is a stud. Yeah, I'm happy to scroll to Fierce. Daryl Strawberry. There we go. Yeah, if he stopped taking those greenies. Too many uppers pregame. Yeah, these three, all fine at ADP. Mix and match the Zion and Queen. I think they should both project better than their current ADPs. I'm never really like a jam Trey Murphy guy, but I get it at ADP. It's a pretty flat tier. I'll take some swings on Fierce in the last round. The minutes have been solid recently. They clearly really like him. The new coaching staff has been good for him. If Saddiq Bey starts this evening, I don't think it's the worst idea in the world. He has a decent ceiling, but sorry, I had to sneeze. But this is probably too deep a slate to entertain it. I would probably, maybe a swing at Fears, maybe a swing at Saddiq Bey in the last round, but I will probably keep it to mainly one of Zion or Derek Queen on the first teams. That's 7 up. That's 7 down. Let's get it going here. Draft number 16 for your boy on the day. Yeah, like if Queen is Boogie Cousins, it's a win. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Kwame Brown complete ass category. Oh, good shit. Good shit. Most underrated 2K player of all time was Tony Roten in 14. Wow. He was a bucket. All right. The guys that I used to love, so we had a tradition. I've told this story before, but we had a tradition for years and years and years on Christmas Eve at my parents' house with one side of the family, that my cousins and I would have a showdown every single year of MVP Baseball 2005 on the original Xbox. And then we would play NBA 2K6, I want to say. Well, it had Shaq on the cover of the Heat, I think. NBA 2K6. Let's see if I can find the cover. Yeah, nailed it. Shaq with Miami on the cover. So we would play this every Christmas Eve. We would play a doubleheader of those games, me versus my cousins. And every single time I would pick two of the shittiest teams in both games. Okay, we rolled the 103, guys. This is where you could start mixing and matching. I think it's Denny Avdia. Man. I love Denny. I think it's fine to do the Giddy stuff there, but I think if all of Chicago is in, Giddy probably doesn't belong at 3. He probably still belongs at 4 or whatever. Maybe if all of Chicago is out, then Giddy can jump Denny. But as of this moment, right now, without the usage rate of Sharp, without Jrue Holiday, in a decently tight game with a good total, I'm taking Denny Avdia. Holy shit, Ryan Rollins at 6. This is the new economy that we live in. Wow. That's okay. So he's a projection darling today, I guess. Anyways, in MVP baseball, I would always pick the Brewers, and I would be Ben Sheets. Ben Sheets would strike out 11 guys every single time, and Lyle Overbay would hit a home run, baby. That was the team. I think Adam Lind was on that team maybe too. I can't remember now. But I would always pick that one. And then in NBA 2K6, I would always pick the Bobcats, Raymond Felton and Sean May combo. The just absolute trash, disgusting. I think Brunson is a little bit of a tier break for me. I like Brunson. I always like Brunson. I always like the ceiling of Brunson. I like playing Brunson more than Cat, and when I can get him at the discount, I'll take it every time. This 15 pick is going to be really interesting because the real fluidity of the board is right around here. You know, pick 11 through 18 are all going to project very similarly. So like if I'm JCam and I'm building out my Joker team here, I mean, I could probably take the top 2 or best projecting, or I could, flip the board a little bit and do something like that and pull Derek Queen over to this side. I think that's pretty sharp. Oh, yeah, Jamal Crawford, little J crossover. I think we should take Zion here. I think Zion, Jamal, and Michael Porter Jr., a little bit of a tier there, but I think Zion is probably the best of the bunch, especially if we get a little bit of uptick. This is definitely going to be the best game for Zion thus far, like just in terms of like projectable setup to start it. A lot of Boogie Cousins ball knowers in the chat, baby. John likes Denny at 2. But he's behind Cat in ADP. So if you take Denny at 3 every time, you're going to have a massive fade on Giddy. Yeah, that's true. That is the accidental dynamic of playing it this way. But I'm kind of fine with it. Oh my God. I flipped on the X machine, and obviously I got notifications on for Nez, and he's retweeting on my timeline some Jalen Warren propaganda. Nope. He's not going to let me win this one. It's kind of like the baseball season debate of Jacob Wilson. How like I'm right even though I'm wrong, but I'm still right. I did tell you guys that I like Benny Math a little bit more than the models. We could also do Kobe White here if we think he sees a little bit more of the minutes. I think IQ is still in this projection tier. I like Benny Math, man. Benny Math's a bucket. Let's get Benny Math. He's got right tail outcomes. He's got ceiling. He's got so many paths to breaking a slate. Let's call it that. I don't think it's like the most stable, but I think there's right tail fragility that like we haven't fully caught up to how good he could be or is right now. Muted. Bad. I want no part of split backfield Jaylen Warren, who gets bailed out on one touchdown because Gainwell goes out at the 1. Like, no. Kobe White feels good here, but then we're quite chalky in terms of ADP. IQ feels good as well. Let's do the Kobe White stuff. I like it. We got a little bit of game correlation with the Zion. Highest total game on the slate there. Yeah, I think the picks there were White or IQ. But as you guys can see, like talking the slate versus drafting the slate, it looks super different depending on the room you go to. So the most obvious stuff is like Ryan Rollins going from like ADP 13 to pick 6. Like obviously people are just jamming the models. Derek Queen going ahead of Zion. That's an interesting little wrinkle to this one. BI going quite highly. Vooch falling all the way to 30 with the Q tag. Jaime Jaquez Jr. up at 25 now. So that's quite early for him when his ADP is actually like 34 or something like that. So the in-room dynamics, guys, are considerably different than what we're seeing in real time here. Unabated projections come out in 23 minutes time. So I'll be very interested to see what kind of minutes they're pushing for Kobe White, what kind of minutes they're pushing for Jaime Jaquez this evening. Those Miami rotations. See if we can get excited about anyone else on Cleveland as I scroll the F down. I think Hero is fine here. I think Santi is fine if you think JJJ doesn't play. I think JJJ is in. I think Josh Hart's fine. I think Edie's fine. I think Jeremy Grant is fine, but I'd prefer it on non-Denny Avdia teams, if that makes sense. Let's scroll all the way the fuck down, and let's take a Peyton Watson share. I think if this game pushes to like some garbage time realm, that he is the starter who stays on the floor the longest. And I think that has a little bit of added value to it. Even compared to like Cam Johnson, for instance, I think Peyton would stay on the floor longer than Cam Johnson just because, you know, Cam Johnson's had a little bit of history of injuries to deal with this season. And yeah, he was soft capped in some isolated windows. I think Davion is fine to scroll to. I think Tobias, if you think there's an uptick in the minutes, he would probably be my third favorite Detroit piece. And it's probably like a half decent matchup for him. It's not the best matchup in the world, but I imagine Nembhard gets the Cade treatment, so he has to deal with a little bit of Siakam. I think it's fine. Yeah, Brandon Williams as a scroll. Buzelis, if you think we don't get the other guys. Pirtle is fine as well. I like the Bobby Portis pick. And I like this J-Cam going with Noah Clowney. Noah Clowney has shown some ceiling. Also would get a little boost if Claxton can't play this evening. We finished from the 103. Denny Avdia, Jalen Brunson, Zion Williamson, Benedict Mathurin, Kobe White, and Peyton Watson. Let's rip one more and see what it looks like here. John is in agreement. He thinks Peyton Watson's the sharpest scroll on the slate. Love it. Love it. It's a good boy. Did not want another draft right now. He's full flopped over staring at me. He's like, bro, come on, man. We got to get to the park. See Jets in here. See our guy Chris in here. Look forward to spending some time with Chris in 2 weeks' time here. Aaron, no money. I have no idea how to say this guy's name. Tanel. Like Ton Nel. I'm not even going to try. I don't even know what that says. Oh, man. Went to a hockey game last night with a buddy of mine that I play hockey with. Really nice guy. Really good hockey player. Played in Europe and stuff like that. Hockey game sucked, though. Definitely felt like a game like the Canucks should have won. Second night of a back-to-back with Calgary, and they just came out and shat the bed. We did do the Denny Avdia stuff. Let's switch it up here, though, guys. I did tell you, don't build your Donovan Mitchell teams like all of the other Donovan Mitchell teams. So let's go ahead and pull up Donovan Mitchell here. Donovan Mitchell against an up-tempo Raptors team with IQ chasing him around on the other side. This seems like a fun Donovan Mitchell ceiling potential night. I know it probably won't project quite as well as some of the other plays that are going at 103. But if anybody was like, hey, Joker only scored 65 on this slate, if you had to be like, hey, pinpoint the next dude who hit ceiling outcome to match that score, Donovan Mitchell is on a short list of guys. Jets saying if he does something stupid, it's because he half-assed pays attention to basketball. Love the show, though. Appreciate it, my friend. Appreciate it. JCam says the show always collides with my gym time, so instead of music, I listen to you and Nez working out. Appreciate it, bro. Get you jacked up. 1, 2, 3. Get those reps up. Scotty Boy. So, okay. This is pretty fucking funny. We're going to pass on it. You know what? Okay. Maybe I won't. Let's think about this for a second. Okay. We're going to take Scotty Barnes. So this is pretty hilarious, guys. We pass on a combination that we bring up Donovan Mitchell because we want to create a unique combination from the 103. And then we get Scotty Barnes to fall to 10 when he's always paired with Donovan Mitchell at the 6-7. And I was like, man, we're going to pass on it here is my initial reaction. But then I thought for a half second, we're going to get a unique 15 and 22 with this combo now. So let's just go ahead and take it, even though it's the same combo as the 106-107 combo. But our 15 will effectively be the same as if you caught a faller at 18. And then our 22 will be different. So we're going to get unique still, but yeah. Boner Brian, this show, the opposite take of JCam. This shows the reason why I haven't been to the gym in 2 years. Oh, man, that's funny. Very interesting stuff from Aaron here. He flips the board and goes, hey, BI never falls back. And Michael Porter Jr. never comes back. Let's take it right there. We got an interesting decision here. So we got Jalen Duren still on the board. We got Pascal Siakam still on the board. We got Zion and Derek Queen, which I think is a tier. I think if you played the projection, you'd probably take Zion here. But I think the uniqueness angle of having a Siakam team with this combination is not going to exist very much in the contest. We can back test this tomorrow. But these three players paired together will probably very rarely happen because Pascal Siakam never falls back to the 18 spot. You know, he just projects too well to ever fall back to 18. So we still created a nice uniqueness lever for ourselves, but it's a 3-person combo instead of a 2-person combo. Derek Queen. If you play your cards right, in some lobbies, he falls there. Chris pairing the teammates together, I think it's fine if you do it Trey Murphy and Queen, or you do Williams and Trey Murphy. I think Queen plus Trey Murphy is probably the best combination of the two teammates. I probably wouldn't do Queen and Zion, but if you wanted to get crazy unique, you could do a Joker Queen Zion team. You're not sacrificing a ton of projection. You might be cannibalizing ceiling ever so slightly. Where goes there? Let's take Bridges. I know never Bridges. Sue me. He's a very solid floor ceiling combo. In a revenge game matchup where the Knicks are missing a bunch of pieces, I like playing Bridges, not tethered to a teammate. So getting Bridges at 22 feels good here. We'll see what Aaron does on the end, because I kind of got a plan of how I'd like to close this draft. I'm not sure I have a plan, but I have a semblance of a plan. Shout out again to our guy Beastburf, who took down an NBA contest over the weekend for the 5 gifted memberships, and Purple Yosh, who's still alive in the Eliminator with 2 bullets left there. Congratulations to him. Hope he keeps finding success there. Thanks for the donation, my friend. Guys, do me a favor, hit the like, subscribe, notification, all that fun stuff. Here every day. We're going to have a bunch more content than usual this week, just because of the way slates are lining up and that sort of thing. So we will have the double feature of it off and on the clock. So Pete will be joining us on Wednesday and on Friday to do football for the Thanksgiving slate and for the main slate. Jaime Jaquez Jr. goes at 25, which is unfortunate because that's who we were going to take. I think PJ Washington is a fine pick here. He'll project as such. I think Miles Turner is a fine pick as well. They probably are the projection darlings of this interval. Let's take IQ, because if this game plays to total, spread, and pace, I think you can definitely have multiple pieces of it. So having multiple Raptors doesn't concern me when you take RJ's usage rate out of the fold. RJ is like a 22 to 20-ish, like 20 to 22% usage rate when the big 5 are all on the floor together. So you instantly take that out, opens up a little more for quickly. We want a densely competitive game environment when we already have 2 of the guys stacked up here. As you guys can see, Chris, obviously a crazy sharp player. You guys saw him on the winner's circle. What was it, 2 weeks ago? Something like that. He goes Jaren Jackson Jr., and then he takes Anthony Davis. So Anthony Davis could break the slate in 28 minutes if the doubtful tag gets upgraded, or he knows that it's going to be a swap, and he's going to have, something open up, whether it's value on the Chicago side because of all the Q tags, whether it's value on the Memphis side because JJJ gets ruled out, whether it's value on Cleveland because we get a starting lineup that we like. Klingen's sitting here, which is fine, but I want to take a ceiling shot with our last pick. I'm tempted to take Watson again. I think we could take Bobby Portis, or we could take Jeremy Grant here. I think both are fine. I think Jeremy Grant could start tonight and play 36. He hasn't shown like full ceiling, but he's definitely had some nice box scores. He's primarily, of the scoring dominant variety. Rebounding rates get hurt a little bit when Time Lord and Klingen are splitting the 48. I did notice that in some of my research, but yeah, I'm good with Jeremy Grant there. I like Bobby Portis and playing like ceiling outcome Bobby Portis. Could have gone Klingen over Turner there. I agree. I'm never, Miles Turner guy, but to be honest, I'm kind of down on both of them this evening, just in a vacuum. I would definitely have them as part of my pool, and I will definitely be drafting them. But I'm a little bit down on the Pirtle, Klingen, and Pirtle, Klingen, Turner, like that kind of tier of guys. A little bit down on it this evening. Kind of searching for ceiling with some other guys in the last round. I like the Josh Hart pick. I don't think he starts tonight, but I think it's a very similar thesis to the Jaime Jaquez one. And Jaime Jaquez is getting steamed to all hell and going in the 20s now. And Josh Hart is still available for free in the last round. Yeah. Jets is asking if his team is live for a min cash. Let's take a look at Jets team. We did a Donovan Mitchell plus Scotty Barnes, which is a often repeated combination, but we did it from the middle of the board. So we got Siakam to come with it. Then we get Bridges quickly and Bobby Portis at the backside there. We'll take a look at Jets' team here. He goes with Denny Avdia. He goes Jalen Brunson. He goes Zion Williamson. He goes Benny Math. Love it, love it, love it. And then he goes ceiling shot on some of the bigs there. Miles Turner, who's not one of our favorite plays today, but, it's totally fine and will project good enough to be there. And then Nick Claxton, he gets a probable tag discount. Obviously, like Claxton, better if there's no Mitch Robb on the other side. But Claxton is a totally fine and reasonable pick, especially when he falls like that. So some good teams, guys. Some fun teams. Need a winning pick 'em like you named Air. I will give me 10 minutes and maybe I'll cook something up in the Discord when the projections for Unabated and stuff are out. I don't have anything that's like jumping off the page like I did the other day when we did the read plus read and did that kind of stuff. I mean, maybe we could find some sneaky value right now on some potential Q tags, or, if we like, everybody kind of likes the Jaime Jaquez stuff. Well, it looks like your boy was looking for Cam Whitmore and Jaime Jaquez ceiling shots last time we did a pick 'em here. Yeah, I honestly, I mean, I love giving you guys like picks and I love playing along as a community, but I just don't have one built out yet. And I hate just like, oh, slap this together, because I value your guys's money more than that I really want to put in some effort for the pick'em stuff. I don't just like, hey, blindly follow this one unless I truly believe in it. So I'll take a look at some of the unabated stuff and some of the projections when they come out, and may or may not share something in the Discord if there are some isolated plays that I do truly like. I am taking a peek at the market-based projections for a half second. Yeah, nothing in terms of projection out. Yeah, that's a good idea from Enwald that we should do a streaks as a community. That's a good idea. Maybe we'll start that tomorrow behind the paywall there. I mean, yeah, I think that's a fun one. It's a good idea. But we'll start it tomorrow or Wednesday. Remind me, please. Okay. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you so much to those who dropped off memberships and donations, Purple Yosh and Beespurf. And then, yeah, shout out to some Dog Bowl winners there. Cognition 10, who didn't come on the program, but will be at the Dog Bowl for a second time. And then Chris G, who punched his second ticket this year and will be at his second Dog Bowl. And second Dog Bowl for our guy Dark Sheep, a.k.a. Matthew, a.k.a. Stacking Dingers. Love it, guys. Best of luck tonight in the puck streets. Best of luck tonight in the hoop streets. And best of luck if you guys have carryover contests for Monday Night Football. Back tomorrow for the 3-game hoop slate. Probably be a shorter show behind the paywall, though famous last words with your boy. And then Wednesday, probably going to do a double feature, something with Off and On the Clock, and then something for hoops as well. Appreciate you guys taking the time. Much love to the community. We will see you tomorrow. Everybody's favorite time of the show, the end. Peace.